everybody, welcome back to my channel. Here we are going to create a marble resin pour on my brand new molds. These are the crosses with the word faith, and I have another one with blessed, and let's get started. So here is the mold itself. As you can see, the word faith is kind of etched inside, and we are going to go with a pink, a white, and a gold leaf base for our marble pour. We're also going to add gold leaf to our clear resin. I've already mixed up my resin, as you can see here, and I do have other videos where you can see exactly how to mix up the resin, but I am using a 1-to-1 resin, which is equal parts A and equal parts B. And then I'm going to add them into my 3 different cups. Just like you see here, I ended up doing an even amount. All right, so for this piece, now that I have all my resin poured into each cup, I am going to pour a small amount into the mold because I wanted the resin to get into the grooves of the faith word, because when you take this piece out of the mold, the word faith does stick up from the mold, and so I did want some time for it to sink in and for all the bubbles to be released. So I also carefully went through the piece with a popsicle stick. I probably should have used one of my silicone rubber end pieces because it was actually a little bit tricky to get all the bubbles out. Okay, now we are going to mix up our pink. I did use a little drop of acrylic paint, and you will see that at the end, I would call it somewhat of a fail because the pink got completely lost, and I don't normally use acrylic paint. This is the first time I'd ever tried using acrylic paint, but the resin paste is a much better option, and I do have the red and the white paste, but I just couldn't find my red paste at the time, so I tried the acrylic paint. Okay, and then in the second cup, I went for the gold leaf, and I just poured it a little bit into a cup and mixed it up. As you can see here, I am mixing up the gold leaf. Again, you gotta be a little bit careful because you don't want to create too many more bubbles by mixing up your gold leaf inside your clear resin. And then after that, we went with a white color. And again, I used Tea Expert. This has been my go-to resin paste, the Tea Expert brand. I believe in a pack you get the white, the black, you get a green, red, and a blue color. So I showed you exactly how much I used into these are little Dixie cups. When you are mixing the resin pigment paste, you do want to make sure that you mix it very well and you scrape the sides to get any of the pigment off the side and all throughout your cup. So again, these are little Dixie cup sizes, so they look a little bit bigger, but they are just the small Dixie cups. Okay, now after we have mixed up, I did end up adding a little bit more white to the pink, just to make it a lighter pink. And again, like I said earlier, the acrylic paint ended up the color ended up completely disappearing, and you can barely see the pink in the final piece. All right, so our next step was to let the resin sit and get up to a temperature of about 94 degrees. And then what we did is I slowly added it into one single cup. You can pour this resin in any order that you want. You can pour it down the side, you can pour it down the middle. It is completely up to you. But you do need to get the resin up to the right temperature to create a true marble effect. I do find that when I poured in this cross, because my colors were, pretty similar, that there wasn't too much marbling going on. So we just alternated the gold leaf, the white, and the pink over and over again until I poured everything into the one cup. Also, while I was doing this, remember I did have that small amount of clear resin inside the mold itself, so any bubbles that were created while sitting in there, they were rising to the top. And then I also used my torch to carefully pop any bubbles, and you can either use a torch or a heat gun but with the torch you have to really be careful that you don't damage any, like that you have to be very careful with the fire close to your mold or you can burn your mold. Okay, now we are going to pour our marble resin into the mold slowly, just like this, back and forth, and we're going to create a cross design. These are going to make just beautiful gifts for anybody who is needing a little bit more faith in their life right now. And again, you can make these for your clients or customers in any design that you want. So I did this one, the pink, the white, and the gold. I made this one actually for my daughter, and I did the gold word faith. I did it in gold. Okay, so next up, I also had a little bit of leftover, so I created the second cross, and this was the word blessed. All right, and now that I have poured both of my crosses, I am going to do my favorite part, which is using my G3 resin curing machine. So this machine is from Resinier's brand, and this cures my resin in just 2 hours. So instead of waiting the 24 hours, it is done in 2 hours and ready to demold. So here we have the piece, the pink, white, and gold leaf piece that I said that if you look closely, you really won't see any pink. Not sure what happened to it. It somehow, I don't know, got sucked into the white or something, but here is the piece. I just love how it turned out. It has a very, very cool effect. So now that the piece is all cured, our next step is going to carefully add the gold metallic marker to the word faith. And it's pretty easy to add this part because the word does pop up. I was able to just go over the word with my metallic marker. So these are the Overseas brand, and they are a permanent marker, so it's not going to come off. I did not reseal this full piece. I just left it as is, but I did go over it more than one time just to give it some extra depth. Fun fact about these markers is they come in every possible color that you would need. They also come in solid colors, like opaque colors, so not just the metallic. And then there is also the silver and the gold and rose gold and everything else that you would possibly want. I'm now ready to show you the reveal, and you are ready to go create your own custom pieces for family, friends, or even to sell yourself. I just love how these turned out. There are so many options, and thank you so much for subscribing and sticking around and supporting my page. I really appreciate it. If you have any questions, just drop them down below. Thanks again.